As you know, last time we had developed our method for answering the question, is Jesus myth? And we did that by discovering and clearly laying out the baseline of what exactly myth is, in terms of its typical pattern of events with typical meanings. We looked at two key examples of the pattern of myth with its mythological gods, Zeus versus Typhon, and Marduk versus Tiamat. The Greek combat myth, the Greek foundation myth of Greek myth culture, and then the Babylonian foundational myth of Babylonian culture. And we discussed both the narratological and social scientific terminology for myth's pattern. Finally, we reiterated our proposal that we've yet to thoroughly test, but we'll begin to do that today, that Jesus doesn't conform to the pattern of myth. And on this table here, on this slide, we have the 6 episodes of myth's pattern, the 6 episodes of Jesus' pattern, and the portions of the Gospel account, the Gospel according to Mark, that comprise these two simultaneous patterns that run concurrently, side by side, through the Gospel account. This is something that Girard observes and something that Molina denies. Molina only sees myth's pattern and tries to present Jesus as conforming to myth's pattern, which is asegetical. It's forced, shoehorned into the text. The text, when accepted at face value, as Girard observes, contains Jesus' unique pattern alongside the myth culture's pattern, as we've laid out here with our S terms for the myth pattern and D terms for the divine pattern in Christ. So we'll confirm the assertion that these chapter and verse divisions are correct for the first episode as we come to our study of Mark today. I also wanted to fully break down the full spread of episodes and motifs and the chiastic or crisscrossing relationship between the myth culture's pattern and Jesus' pattern, both in terms of social scientific episodes and mythological motifs. So you can see on the left 2 columns of the social scientific episodes from the last slide, and then the right 2 columns have the combat myth motifs as they're expected to occur in their order, as they do in the Babylonian and Greek myths that we looked at as examples. And then Jesus' pattern, you'll see that Jesus' pattern inverts the motifs in each episode and subverts their meaning. Now, the table can't really convey the subversion of the meaning, but we're going to talk about that. But I put the names of the motifs in quotation marks to show that they're not really conveying what myth conveys by those terms. And we'll see what that means in a moment for the first episode. This table also appears on page 100 of Jesus and Myth, so you can find it there. And it's an important reference for all that follows in our study of Mark's Gospel account and the 2 ways, the 2 opposing patterns, Jesus' pattern and myth culture's pattern. And of course, I've asserted that all 4 Gospel accounts can be rendered into this table, but we'll only look at Mark's account here for the sake of time and space, as I do also in the book. Okay, so what we're about to see firsthand in Mark 1, 1-15, is that in the first episode, Jesus' identity, words, and behavior are inversive in order and subversive in meaning compared to those of myths, gods, and monsters. In other words, Jesus is not mythological. So let's see that.